Happy Victory Sunday, Cavs Nation. Last night, y'all, we pulled off a comeback win for the books. You heard? Down double digits. Didn't even matter. Spider took over yet again. DeAndre Hunter caught a clean body on poor Giddy Tink Tink. Okay. And the Cavs walked out with their fourth straight win. What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Najah Lee, and this is the Cavs State of Mind, the realest Cavs talk show on the net, and the only place, I mean, the only place where hoops meet higher perspective. Again, I'm going to take you upstairs each and every episode, and tonight won't be any different. We got to talk about the never fold, believe land energy. That's exactly what we need to stay in our bag this season. With or without key players on the court, we still need that same energy. So before we hop into the Bulls versus Cavs recap, shout out to y'all for pulling up and supporting. Every episode is powered by For Your Lenz, a lifestyle brand inspiring dope people like you to live, move, and create with purpose and attention. So hit the like button, hop into the chat, and most importantly, please help us get to 500 subscribers, y'all. Much love, much appreciation. Now, let's get right into the show. Y'all, the Cavs know how to keep us on our toes. The Cavs definitely know how to stress us out. I'm talking about stress. I'm talking about sitting on the end of the chair. You calling on your maker. You say, come on, man. Don't let us take this L to Chicago Bulls. Especially the Chicago Bulls were not even like a certified name on the team, right? Not even Giddy, shout out to Josh Giddy. And, poor Tink Tink, shout out to his ankles. They buckled. You feel me? So shout out to his quick recovery because the boy fell down. I didn't think he was gonna get back up. I said, oh, he gonna be out a game or two. Gonna be out a game or two. Okay. Maybe a stress ligament and that ankle there, sir. But hey, he stood up. He took a couple little breathers on the sideline, got right back in. But I was like, yo, we can't take this L. But the cardiac kids, okay, reborn, showing that what they do best is have us on a emotional roller coaster. I'm trying to tell you. Okay? I'm trying to tell you. Every game, at least 80% of the games, this is what we do. So, shout out to Believe Land. Let's talk about the Cavs comeback win this episode. Hunter's dominance, his efficiency, Mitchell's takeoverness, his understanding the assignment, okay, understanding when he needs to take over the game and rally his troops. And then we got to talk about Tyson's incredible fourth quarter and just his unstoppable, undeniable energy on this team. Yo, shout out to Jalen Tyson. And more importantly, shout out to the coaching staff that believes in him in Believe Land, and that he's been stepping up to the plate and showing that their trust is not in vain. So let's get into the episode, y'all. Believe Land, our comeback kids. We're called Believe Land for a reason. Let's talk about it. Actually,
Never
let's
lose
let
faith.
Donovan
Never
talk
lose
about
faith.
it. Start over from the top.
Hey, never lose faith. Never lose faith. Never lose faith. Always believe. Am I here or no? Yeah, boy. Yeah, boy. Yeah. Hey, just like warm-ups. Oh my God.
Hey, yo, it's just like warm-ups, he said at the end. You hear me? Listen, it's all about believing in yourself, trusting in your team, trusting the impact that your team is going to make, especially when each individual understands their role. You feel me? We talked about that yesterday on yesterday's episode. We talked about role clarity, okay? And how everybody is completely understanding and locked in to what they have to do. Let me pull this back up here for y'all. Yesterday, we talked about how Garland is responsible for organizing the team. But let's fast forward to Jalen Tyson, and forgive me for the typo, right? He spells his name Jalen, Lon. So shout out to Jalen Tyson. His energy, I mentioned this yesterday, so I already knew what it was because his energy is undeniable. Okay. So let's get into the nooks and cranny of today's episode again. That comeback win down 16. Down 16. We're gonna take a look at these first half stats right now. Because the end game score doesn't really show y'all how stressed out I was. Okay. Not by the end game score. So let's talk about it right now. Hold on. Boom. So yesterday's end game score 128 to 122. I'm trying to tell y'all in the fourth quarter, I was like this. I was like this the whole fourth quarter because it was a tight, aggressive, well contested fourth quarter, right? From both teams. But the Cavs, they started to get back again into their bag in the fourth quarter. So let's talk about the tale of the two halves, right? Look at the line score breakdown quarter by quarter. Cavs got out to a decent, really strong first quarter start, right? So if you can score 30 plus points in any quarter, but in the first quarter, that's a great start, right? That first quarter went back and forth, back and forth. They went on a run. We went on a run. We closed out. They were still on that run towards the end of the first quarter, but we snuck out of there with the win. Well, with the high score. Then the second quarter, that run that Chicago was on at the end of the first, they doubled down, scored 43 points in the second quarter to our 24. Now, one thing that I've noticed throughout the course of this season thus far, early season, right? So it's nothing to overreact about. But what I've noticed thus far is that when we play well, when we get off to a great start, us Cavs, we like to fall back into ISO ball. We like to fall back. I mean, it's the same story. We've been watching this story for 4 years now, right? How we like to just fall back into old bad habits. Okay. Even the newer guys fall back into old bad habits. Now, one thing that I did know is that Donovan was really trying to find his rhythm, find his shot in the first half, and it wasn't falling. So a lot of shots that he was taking was somewhat, in my opinion, was a little forced. Meaning, not that it was a bad shot. It's just not in the flow at this moment. Meaning that there's another better shot available if we just swing it past it maybe one, two more times. So there was multiple times where only he touched the ball. That's not good ball movement, right? That's not the rhythm that we talked about on the last episode that really sets the tone and understands like we see that we clicking on all cylinders because the ball is so hot. Pop, pop, pop. It's just flying around the court. Everybody's getting the opportunity to touch it. Okay. So again, tale of two halves. We have a great first quarter, a sorry second quarter where we kind of lost focus offensively and then defensively not getting on the glass. That's been a consistent um opportunity for us all season is rebounding the ball. And we have gaps there. So we have defensive gaps there when it comes to rebounding the ball and closing off our defensive sets, right? By just going ahead and securing that rebound. So we definitely got to continue to improve that. But again, this is a very young season, so nobody's overreacting today, okay? Now you go to the third quarter, everything changes, right? It's almost the exact opposite. We scored 24 points in the second quarter, they scored 43, then we scored 40 and they scored 26. I mean, it's almost like, damn, okay, you wanna take the third and we take you feel me? Like it's like they had a agreement or something. And then you go and look at the fourth quarter. Almost looks exactly like the first quarter. You see, we scored 32 points both quarters. They scored 24 and 29. These are the same games, same outputs, right? The difference in the fourth quarter for the Cavs is that you had Donovan is in his bag. Third quarter, he turns on. Fourth quarter, he go ahead and solidifies that. So he's in his bag. Second half, Tyson, who kind of struggled in the first quarter offensively, now he's in his bag. And Evan and DeAndre Hunter, they kind of was the stabilizing force, including Jared Allen in that first half, defensively and offensively. So you had other key players pop in that second half and go ahead and bring this game to, like, to something that looks familiar, looks like Cavaliers basketball. So let's talk about the second half real quick, because the first half was so abysmal. I don't even want to talk about that. we don't even want to talk about that. Okay. Actually, I'm on the first half right now. Hold on. Let's go to the second half. But look, let's just look at these stats on the first half, though. Spider was 1 for 10. Mobley, great, 6 for 8. Tyson, 1 for 5. Hunter, almost perfect, 5 for 6. Allen, 3 for 5. That's exactly what we want to see. Minus this 1 for 10, right? Jalen Tyson, 1 for 5 ain't necessarily going to hurt us, okay? But when you have 3 or 5, I say every episode, when you have 3 to 5 of your starters showing up every single game, and then you have 2 to 3 bench players playing significant roles, whether that's rebounding, whether that's energy, whether that's like saying Merrill knocking down those open threes, whether that's like Lonzo making sure he's continuing the flow, continue to pass the ball. You feel me? You got a lot, that we can tap into, but we just got to maintain consistency. Shout out to Miss D. Shout out to Miss D. Welcome back. Actually, this is your first time on Cavs State of Mind, so appreciate you pulling up again in supporting for your Lenz. Miss D is a faithful and a supporter of Her Core, Her Rules. That's our WNBA recap. And so yeah. And Miss D, we about to be pulling back up with Her Core, Her Rules towards the end of the month. So make sure you tap into that. We're probably going to do that 26 episode right before Thanksgiving. So tap into that. But definitely appreciate you pulling up. So the first half was abysmal for certain players, but for everybody, for the collective, it still looks good. Tyrese Proctor had a good start right to the first half. Dean Wade, Mr. Dean Wade is always hit or miss. At this point, if he have a good game the night prior, don't count on a good game the next game. I don't know. It's just so you never really know what you get out of him offensively, but he always brings it defensively. Okay, always brings it defensively. So he had one rebound. He ain't had no assists, but he did have a steal, and he was all over the place, deflecting passes and things like that, and just trying to rotate. Oh, want to see your Pistons play the Cavs for sure. We had a good game, like last week, early in the season, but I think we play each other every year like 4 times. So we probably will split those games. If we play Pistons 4 times this season, more than likely we'll split those games. Y'all take 2, we take 2, and that's cool. I mean, I think that's our ultimate rival in the Central Division is the Pistons, and of course, being 2 hours away from Detroit. Cleveland, Detroit. I mean, come on, man. That's always good basketball. So love Detroit basketball. Obviously, let them know. Shout out to Cleveland, but that's always great competition when we play the Pistons. And y'all got a couple of our players. Like y'all got Karis LeVert. Y'all got our old coach. So it's always love when we play the Pistons, but it's always got to beat y'all ass. I'm just saying. But shout out to y'all. So the first half was just not nothing to really be talking about, except for the fact that 3 of our 5 starters showed up. Okay, and that's exactly what we need to see consistently this season. As we go down the line, regardless of who is playing. Okay, and so now we look at the second half. Again, Donovan started out 1 for 10 the first half. Now what is he? 9 for 14. Talk about understanding the assignment. Talk about we got to come back. We got to come back and get this dub. And it's going to be very difficult for us to come back if I'm not actively engaged in the offense. Like this offense, it doesn't run on Donovan, but it thrives on Donovan. Again, when he ain't going, like when Garland ain't here and Donovan ain't going, the engine, the car just don't run that smooth. We can get through. We can get to our destination, but it ain't comfortable, right? And it ain't pretty. So we need Donovan to be consistent. But him shooting like 10% in the first half and then shooting 65, damn near 65% in the second half is just showing you that, man, when he want to turn it on, he can turn it on, and he can keep his head in the game that allows him to even turn it on. You feel me? Yeah, I still really the old Pistons and Cavs with LeBron, Chauncey. Oh, you still really love the old Pistons and Cavs? rivalry with LeBron, Chauncey, Booby getting hot in the playoffs. I mean, the Detroit and Cavs rivalry in those early 2000s were incredible to watch. You feel me? Incredible to watch. Um, Detroit had one of the better teams in the East. Stack lineup, you know what I mean? Stack lineup with Chauncey and Rip Hamilton and Wallace and Prince. I mean, just super stack lineup. So I love Detroit Pistons, man. I just love their philosophy. They're a gritty, hard fought team. Autocorrect ghetto as hell. It make you be knowing which exactly what you want to say, and it's gonna gibberish it up. So I already know how you feel. But yeah, man, that Cavs Piston rivalry was it was something back then. So the second half of the game was crazy, right? Donovan turned up big threes. At one point, he literally he made 3 threes in a row. It was crazy. Mobley still came out being aggressive, taking 6 shots, shooting 50%. Tyson, the energy that just doesn't stop. He was perfect from the field in the first half. Again, the same thing from Donovan, right? Donovan was 1 for 10. Tyson was 1 for 5. And then again, just shooting his lights out in the second half, making sure that they stay involved mentally, stay involved with their energy emotionally. They are still tapped into the game. And that's how you can have outcomes like this where you're down 16 but still come back. Hunter shot 10 times in the second half, right? Being very aggressive since he's returned back from his injury. Very aggressive. Again, Hunter came off the bench last year. And one of the biggest things that the Cavs fans were saying, like, why is he not a starter? Now we know that because Strus is not available right now, that we know that Kenny Atkinson was going to play with the lineups, and he's going to continue to play with the lineups. But we just knew out the gate, Hunter is like the perfect 3. So like make him that, right? When Strus comes back, then there may be some conversation as to Strus coming off the bench, or you gonna go back to Hunter, or is that you gonna take Tyson out and put Strus in for Tyson, which will make sense. Okay. So you have, but then at that point you got Garland back. So you think Garland is gonna take Tyson's minutes, and then Strus got to get his off the bench. And so Kenny like to sub two at a time. So you might sub in, or you might even sub 3 at a time. You might sub in Strus, um, Strus, Lonzo, and Merrill once we get all of our pieces back. So again, that's gonna be crazy. Make sure while y'all here, make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe and comment. You feel me? I love to engage with y'all. If y'all pull up, love talking to y'all. So hop in the chat. All your voices are welcome. In this Cavs Nation, baby, you know what I'm saying? If you love the Cavs, this is a perfect place for you to be. I'm just saying. And if you team Eastern Conference, if you team the West, pull up over here, okay? Because it's big East Coast energy over here. Shout out to JTTV Podcast, one of Free Lenz moderators, man. Always show love. So listen, man, the second half was crazy. Even though our bench didn't really knock down big shots, Tyrese Proctor did in the first half, right? Dean Wade, he made one. He didn't score anything in the first half. Ball still hasn't been able to find his shot. He still hasn't been able to find his shot. But we still giving him grace, still giving him some patience there, because we know once he turned that thing on, it's going to be lights out, especially to complement our guard core coming off that bench. Again, any given game, we can see Porter, Proctor, Ball, Merrill, and then we don't even have Strus, and Garland is not playing every game right now. So we got a lot to really work with from our guard play. Now, one thing that I want to see is that I would love to see Thomas Bryant get more minutes. Like I kind of would even like to see his minutes be replaced by Proctor's minutes some game. I just want to see us play a little bit more with our bigs and experiment with our bigs in those rotations, especially when Larry Nance is injured right now. So yeah, instead of going 10 deep and 5 or 4 guards coming off the bench and only 1 big, let's go 10 deep and have 2 guards coming off the bench and only 3 bigs. You feel me? I think that that will be a good look, and I'm hoping that coming forward in the next few games that we get to see a little bit more of Thomas Bryant in the lineup. I mean, for goodness sake, we saw Luke Travers. And this ain't no disrespect, but come on, man. Let me get Thomas Bryant in that lineup, man. Come on, man. We got to do that. So that's kind of how the first half and the second half broke down and how the individual players stepped up. And it was a beautiful thing to watch. Ms. D says, I hate to admit the Cavs are still the team to beat. Indy, New York, Philly, not ready. My Pistons a few years away. I mean, I agree. I think the Cavs are still the best team in the East by far. But again, I do think that the East is something to be looked at. So we need to have them on notice, or they need to have us on notice. You feel me? So here's why. Like, this is the Central Division as of yesterday before the games. Okay. This was the Central Division. And as you can see, the top 4 teams in the East come out of the Central Division. And right now we're kind of all with the same records, you know what I mean? Cavs are 7-3 now, Bulls are, 6-3. And so everything is kind of shaking out a little bit opposite, right? We kind of knew that it was going to be Cavs and Knicks, but nobody saw the Sixers being top 6, the Pistons, the Bulls being top 6, maybe the Pistons being top 6, but we also thought that the Magic were going to be in the mix, maybe Atlanta, but Trae Young got injured. Porzingis has been in and out of the lineup, so it's been weird over there in Atlanta. The Bulls look good, the Bulls look good. Ms. D, yep, absolutely, the Bulls look good. They're well coached. Billy Donovan got them going, right? They got a lot of energy from their starter core. Shout out to Isaac Okoro, a long time Clevelander. He played with 6 seasons, I believe, 5 or 6 seasons. So yeah, we still got some stuff in the East that the people need to be talking about, but I'm cool if they don't. You feel me? I'm cool if they don't. I'm not tripping about that. All right, so that was the Cavs comeback win. It was a great win, great victory, well fought and well earned. Again, like, shout out to LeBron. Okay, nothing given, everything earned. And if you from the Midwest, you already know that you can relate to that, right? So you ain't even got to be a LeBron fan, but you know that it's harder to get it out the mud in the Midwest. Not as many opportunities. Okay, it's called get cold in the mid. You feel me? So shout out to our Midwest teams, that Central Division that's turning up, and that's rounding out the top 6 teams in the East as well. All right, so let's get into some of the shenanigans again for yesterday's game. I'm just want to show y'all a few of the team stats here so we can kind of look at that real quick. So we can see our progress. And here's one of the things that I wanted to highlight most importantly. Now, we shot 46 threes, okay, to their 29. Okay, we were 37% from 3. Now, if we're going to shoot 46 threes and be 37% from 3 as a team, okay, I guess I'm okay with that. But what I don't want is 50 plus threes, and I don't want 46 threes every single game to be consistent. Last game was a low 3-point shooting game as well. So I think the more we play, the more we learn our identity, and the more our roles are being clearly defined. Okay, again, our role clarity from this year as compared to last year is a complete night and day. And you can see that with the emergence of Jalen Tyson, I'm sorry, and then Tyrese Proctor coming on board and just like really being like plug and play. So that's impressive. Again, with our free throws, we got to shoot better from the free throw line. I mean, our bigs are like shooting like 50%, 60% from the free throw line. Unacceptable. Our guards miss key free throws. Unacceptable, right? So they shot 91 from 3 and we shot 73. We got to do better with that, okay? Got to do better with that. Rebounding every single game. I talk about it because we got 2 damn near 7-footers down there, and we get beat on the glass. We've gotten beat on defensive rebounds almost every game. We're usually beating the other teams with offensive, but we are getting beat on the glass defensive rebounds. We can't continue that. Especially when we are playing the better teams, especially when we are later in the season. If we are losing in the fundamentals, and that is and does include rebounds, then it's not going to be good for us as the season progresses. So we got to do better there. Okay. Now the blocks were great. Shout out to some of our key contributors and the blocks. Always Evan Mobley, DeAndre Hunter, even Dean Wade got on some of the blocks. I believe Dean Wade had 3 blocks yesterday. It's incredible defensive output from Dean Wade. So again, sometimes when he ain't making the shots, I can't trip because Dean Wade still be pulling up and making an impact on the defensive end. Okay, so we had as a team 32 assists. That's really good, especially without our starting point guard. I'm good with that. This is one thing to highlight. We got out the game with under double digits in turnovers, especially without our 2-time All-Star point guard. That's amazing. That's incredible. Shout out to discipline. Shout out to understanding where you're supposed to be on the court and not trying to not trying to force and rush. Just trusting the system, trusting the process, and trusting your teammates. Points in the paint. For once, we didn't get beat with points in the paint. Every game we've been getting beat with points in the paint. Why? Because we've been taking a ridiculous amount of threes. One game we took over 55 threes against Boston. Just crazy. So when we can get in the paint and we can lead the scoring in the paint, at least against that team, that shows us that we're being aggressive, and that we're understanding how to balance our offense. Okay, we're going to talk about the balance in the offense as well. But one thing I wanted to also share with y'all is that the first episode of Cavs State of Mind this season, I mentioned Donovan Mitchell. Again, he's playing on a completely different frequency. He's showing us his dominance is on an entirely different level. And that he can take over at any time, right? Again, when you can score 71 points, I'm not shoot it. Okay, so here's a little clip of the first episode, and how I believe that Donovan can be the leading scorer of the NBA, and how now I'm not the only one that believes that. Okay, so let's talk about that real quick. Mitchell was averaging 33. And the scary thing about Mitchell averaging 33 is that he can sustain that throughout the season. How? Just by getting to the line. Just by getting to the line and staying consistent from 3. He's not going to shoot 66% from 3, but he can shoot 40. He can shoot 40. He can get to the line 8-9 times a game. He cooking. So if you got him making 8-9 free throws a game, so let's say if he averaged 8 free throw makes a game, 4 made 3-pointers a game. Do the math. Come on, man. And then now he picking his poison with dunks in the mid-range. The man can average 30 points. He can lead the league in scoring. We're going to watch him do it. I believe we're going to watch him do it this year. I ain't worried. Come on. I said I believe we're going to watch him do it this year. Okay? That's what I said. Here's why. Look at we doing. Look. Come on. I'm not making this up. I'm not cap, bro. I know what I be knowing. I don't know everything, but I know what I know. Okay? He's top 5 in scoring right now. Okay? With 30.7 points a game. A lot of these points, he's scoring efficiently and effectively, but a lot of these points sometimes it'd be like, damn, that boy, he made that one all on his own. The other game, he shot 15 threes and made 8. A lot of those threes was, step back. You feel me? Now he's shooting and moving within the system. Okay. However, he can be the most dominant person on the court at any time in any game. Like Miss D is saying, almost every team want to shoot 30 or more threes no matter what the position. That's crazy. I just said Donovan shot 15 of them things on his own. Made 8 though. So when you are shooting at a high clip, he's shooting over 50% from 3. when you shooting at a high clip, take them. But what I don't want is the bigs, right? Evan Mobley had a couple games. He shot 8 to 10 threes. I don't want to see that from Evan Mobley. Get your ass in the paint. And that was the difference yesterday. He was getting the ball. Now, his offense is starting this season, is starting further away from the basket. So he's really getting the ball at the 3-point line. I'm thinking that they want to give him more room so he can dribble. But again, they need to take a page out of the WNBA playbook, especially the Las Vegas Aces. They need to look at Mobley and like kind of like frame him around Asia Wilson, because he does exactly the same thing. Mid-range is crazy. Got a good jumper, can get to the basket. No, he ain't as strong, but he's tall, he's lean. He got a little quickness, you feel me? So he can get past most of his ops just with the couple little dribbles and having the length and having that speed for his size. Okay? So with that being said, okay, the guards, let that thing fly. Donovan, let it fly. Sam Merrill, let it fly. Okay? Even those games where Hunter started off hot, keep testing it, let it fly. Dean Wade, you hot, let it fly. Okay? I don't want to put a muzzle on Evan, but I do want to be more conscious in his shot selection and get him shots closer to the basket. But that being said, I mean, look at what Donovan been doing. Again, this season he's averaging 53% field goal percentage from the field, okay, and 44% from 3-point line. Didn't the video I just played, I said, oh, he can average 40% from 3 for sure. And he started the season, he was in the mid 30s. He hadn't found his distance, but he was still getting to the rack. And so now, he's shooting more efficiently. Okay. And that's from the field and from 3. Okay. Plus, he's still giving us 5 assists a game. Still distributing, still making sure he gets everybody else involved, especially Evan, and more importantly, JA. I saw yesterday them being very intentional about getting JA the ball, including Evan Mobley. When Evan Mobley had the ball on the 3, he was on the left wing, and JA had a guard on him, and Mobley made sure he got JA the ball. That's what you want to see. That's trusting your team. That's trusting the process. Okay, and that's also understanding that mismatch, easy money, barbecue chicken. What we doing? We not about to do that. We not about to do that. So the Cavs and Donovan's leadership and his ability to attack is really showing me that the Cavs are in a good space right now. The Cavs are definitely in a good space. Real quick, let's look at the Cavs state of mind and how they show grit in their comeback win against the Bulls, including Donovan, him turning up in that second half. So let's talk about that real quick.
Think you could lead the league in scoring?
What I said.
I mean, yeah, but is that what we need? I mean, it's more so like, what do we need as opposed to what could I do? You know what I'm saying? I just feel like my role is a little different than those guys who are. I mean, obviously, I'm scoring at a high level, but like, I don't. That's not what we need
with this game.
Again, understanding your role clarity, right? I keep coming back to that. Attacking the basket, balancing our offense, making sure everybody is getting involved, right? And so, yeah, Donovan understands that he can take over, that he can lead the league in scoring, that he can, take the most shots on the team every single game. He knows that. But is that what we need? And whatever we need, he's so mature and he's such a great leader that he's going to do what we need. And that's per game. Some games we need him to score 30. Some games we need 7 assists, 6 boards. You feel me? Some games we need him to be more aggressive defensively, get into the passing lanes. Like that needs to be the main focus, not necessarily taking the threes, but getting back on defense, making sure that, we stop their transition offense. And so, he definitely, again, understands the assignment. And I love that for us. Now, again, that Cavs
game. I mean,
mentality,
you guys
that
were
Cavs
trailing by
state of mind,
16 at half.
trailing 16.
Obviously, that was a huge momentum.
Let's talk about
booster
DeAndre
as well.
Hunter and how he felt about
What
it.
was the biggest difference for you guys coming out of halftime?
I think we just matched their intensity. You know, they were getting out in transition a lot. Make or miss, they're a fast-playing team. They play with a lot of pace, so we just, match that. And, we try to get back in transition and, limit the things that get them out in the open court.
See, the Cavs state of mind is so important because that's what keep us grounded, keep us our feet on the ground so we don't fold in those moments where it's very easy to fold. When you're down 16, especially against a team that you came in with a 70% chance winning chance to win. You feel me? When you come in with that type of energy off a great win from last night, yes, a back-to-back, but this is still shouldn't be a team that you should be losing to. You got to always be tapped into the Cavs state of mind and what our ultimate mission is per game and then overall. It's not to go out there and lay an egg, even if we do take an L, but it is to make sure that we are playing the Cavs way, right? We're not letting anybody force us to do a thing, force us into taking 56, 57 threes. Nah, we gonna get out here and impose our will and impose our philosophy on the other team. And we do that when certain key players like Jalen Tyson steps up consistently and he's being the energy that this Cavs team need. So let's listen to Donovan talk about Tyson's undeniable energy thus far this season.
The way that he came through there at the end to I think it was 2 threes. He had to drive on Herter. There was a bunch of stuff that he did.
Yeah, you're seeing it's crazy, man. You're seeing a real life progression in just 10 games. In 10 games?
Yeah.
Like it's unheard of typically for a young player on a contending team, right? Like you.
Now, let's pause right there because it is unheard of, especially for the sophomores, right? It's that sophomore slump that everybody was expecting. But for me in my house, I've been team Tyson. I was crying and begging them last year to play him over Okoro. I thought he had what it took last year in those key significant minutes. But again, he was a rookie and I understand it. But you see this year, Kenny Atkinson is learning from his past mistakes because he's playing Proctor, isn't he? Yeah, he's a rookie. He was drafted lower than Tyson, right? So I think Kenny understands, like, if I don't know what I got, I don't know what I got, right? And knowing now the fact that Tyson shows up and he's playing his game is translating from practice to spring training to summer league to the second year in the NBA. So shout out to Jalen Tyson, man, his undeniable energy. I'm gonna let Spider, the captain, continue.
You don't really, see that. And for it to be not just the threes, like I tell them all the time, I don't care if you make threes or miss threes. It's the playing in the half. Like that little play we did at the end of the game is the same thing we do in warm-ups. It's like a joke. Like, like kind of like, because I'm always on them, like the half roll and giving it, like we mess around with it and then we come down and make a crucial play in the game, right? He's getting stops. He's on the boards. He's pressuring full court. Man, he was the first one here today. He was tired as hell last night.
See, and that's the energy that we need. And as a matter of fact, my boy Hunter talks about Tyson's energy and the fact that he's always first to arrive, the last to leave. You feel me? So let's listen to Hunter hop into the same conversation off the back of Spider about Tyson's undeniable
a guy
energy.
that comes in, has 12 in the fourth quarter and knocks down 2 clutch ones. What have you seen from him?
12
this
points
season?
in the fourth quarter, bro.
No, that's my dog. We get a lot of working together. I see the work that he put in. He one of the first dudes in the gym, one of the last dudes to leave. So, to see it come in the game and, see him put the work in and, it comes into fruition in the game is definitely big. And, that's my guy.
Going into the fourth quarter, you have that role of
Look
being
at Tyson
in that lineup. What is it?
I love him. He's so humble,
to trust
bro.
you in that lineup, and then for Dre and your teammates to keep passing you the ball.
It means the world, honestly, right? I mean, to piggyback off what Dre said, like the work that I put in, they see it. I mean, they're trying to kick me out of the gym all the time. But to have that trust in me, like once they have that trust in me, I gotta do my job and I gotta deliver, right? So I'm blessed that they believe in me, but we got a lot more games left.
Come on. Come on. He understands the assignment, right? He understands his role. Okay. And so again, we talk about role clarity and how important that is for everybody to understand what they need to bring to the table game in and game out. And I think as a collective, that's exactly what we've been seeing. And so I'm so excited to see what the Cavs have to offer moving forward this season. Monday, we have, hold on, let me pull up the schedule. Monday we have the Heat because we have the Heat back to back. So let's pull up the schedule real quick so we can see exactly what we have in the looking glass. Matter of fact, hold on. I just did this yesterday, so I already got it. Hold on. All right, so boom, we can go ahead and cross the Bulls off our menu here. Okay, we went on ahead and took care of that. I said last episode that if we do what we need to do, then we should be able to win 7 in a row. Okay. I told y'all that you don't talk to me until we 25 games in, until we have eclipsed that first quarter in the season. Don't talk to me about who's number 1 in the East. Don't talk to me. None of that matters until we at least got a 25 game, or at least a 22 to 25 game sample size. Okay. So the Bulls, we went on ahead and dubbed that. Boom. Now we got the Heat on Monday, and then we have the Heat on Wednesday. The Heat just dropped 53 points in the first quarter a couple games ago against the Charlotte Hornets. So these are 2 games we have to win. Of course, they still Saudi from last season, okay, in the playoffs when we swept them, right? So they got some points to prove. And Spoelstra need to win. The Heat organization, they just need to win. And we need to be the team that prevents that. So we got the 4th win against the Bulls. If we get the 2 Heat, that's 5 and 6. And then the Raptors, let's go ahead and call that an early dub. I'm just going to call that an early dub. Okay. So if we get this next cluster here next week, going into a big weekend of basketball, we can go up 7 straight games, right? 7 straight games. That'll put us at 13 wins, 13 and 3. That's going to be critical because then Saturday we have the Grizzlies. Next Monday, not this one coming up, next Monday we have the Bucks, and then we have the Rockets on Wednesday. So it's going to get a little tough for us on this little road trip, and then we go into Indiana. It's never easy to win in Gainbridge Fieldhouse, I think it's called that. Yeah, so never easy there. So the next couple games over the next week is going to be very important for us, very critical for us to stay tapped in and stay locked in with our rhythm and our Cavs state of mind. Ms. D said when the Cavs get healthy, they can move to the top spot. Absolutely. I think we'll be in the top spot even, with Garland being in and out and other players being kind of in and out of our lineup. I think we'll still be okay. I think by the end of the season, we'll see Cavs, Knicks, Pistons, Bucks, top 4. You know what I mean? I feel like that's kind of what we'll see by the end of the season. I do not think that the Bulls are going to be able to withstand this or sustain this the entirety of a season. They got out to a great start. Shout out to them. Well coached. Great energy all the time. Always leaves it on the floor, but I don't think they're gonna put it on the floor. Okay. Shout out to Lotto. Okay. That being said, we do have some games tonight. Matter of fact, who we got tonight on the boob tube? I think we have some West Coast teams playing tonight. I don't really be caring about them. So not for real. So who we got right now? Hold on, I'm trying to pull it up on my phone. Okay. Oh, the Rockets already beat the Bucks. Today's Saturday? Damn, today's Sunday. Wow. Okay, so the Rockets already beat the Bucks. We got the Pistons and the Sixers. That should be a good game at 7:30. Pacers and Warriors at 8:30. and then Timberwolves and Kings at 9. I'm probably never gonna stay up to watch no Kings game. Don't care about that. Warriors Pacers, don't care about that. And the only really good game to watch, maybe to take note of, tap in and tap out, is the Pistons and 76ers. Right now on the clock, you got the Celtics and the Magic. The Celtics are leading that game 44-33. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and put up these NBA scores today real quick. And just so we can see that. Hold on. Yeah, because I actually forgot that we had some NBA games on right now, actually, and that's kind of crazy. So, yeah, let's look at the scores real quick and kind of tap in around the league just to kind of see what the people is doing. So, this is what we got today. We got the Knicks on right now. They are playing the Nets. Not good. Again, Cam Thomas, yesterday, we announced and talked about Cam Thomas going to be out for the next 3 to 4 weeks due to a hamstring injury. I figured that they were going to rack up some L's during that time period. Magic and Celtics. Celtics are winning right now by 9. Again, Magic, I thought that they would be much more improved this season, especially with Jalen Suggs back and then with adding Bane. But we'll see how that continues to play and shakes out as the season progresses. And then the Thunder and Grizzlies are on right now. Okay, this may be an upset. Obviously, I mean, OKC is 9-1. Memphis is 4-6. Again, we have Memphis next week, so this is very important, right? I don't be looking at the West like that, but I look at who I have in the in the coming games. And so Morant has been tapped in, finding his shot, finding his rhythm, and not turning the ball over. That's his goal. And so Jared Jackson is returned. Caldwell Pope. So yeah, they got some pieces. They just gotta find that consistency and get that rhythm and build that rapport with their coach. So it's been excuse me, y'all. Lordy. It's been real, you feel me? It's already been an interesting first half of the season or start to the season. And I can't wait till the season progresses. Excuse me, again, once we get to that 25 game mark, we'll really be able to see who's real contenders in the East, who's going to be our real personal threats and may stop us or may get in our way from making a real deep run in the East. But right now, I don't think it's anybody. Shout out to y'all and whatnot, but nah, I think it's us. And I think, fast forward, we'll see who we stand across from in the finals, because it doesn't have to be. It's not inked in. It's going to be OKC. Y'all see the score. I just had the score up. Right now, they out here getting smoked. Okay? Anybody can lose in this game. So let's see how everything shake out. Cavs, we got another good game on Monday against the Heat and then Wednesday against the Heat. So we'll pull back up Wednesday at 6 p.m. And give our point of view and our perspective of the Cavs state of mind and where we are going. Again, thank everybody for watching. We do this every Wednesday at 6 p.m. EST right here on Beyond Lens TV, and every episode is powered by Freer Lens. I appreciate y'all for pulling up, and when y'all do pull up, I appreciate y'all for getting to the live chat and or dropping, some feedback in the comment section, because every time you comment, you like, you subscribe, and you engage with the channel, that helps the algorithm and helps YouTube get the word out even more. So again, I appreciate y'all for rocking for your lens, for rocking with me, your host, Najah Lee, over here, and most importantly, for rocking with the best team in the NBA, Cavs. Welcome back again to Cavs Nation, and we'll check with y'all on the flip. It's Cavs State of Mind, peace, and freedom.